Just wanted to put up a quick video explaining that you can actually beat every single island on the game Slay. You can beat it on the very clever setting, which is the hardest difficulty. You can see from this screen that I beat every single very small island and small islands. I didn't actually finish the large islands and very large islands yet, but those tend to be easier than the very small and small islands because the larger the island, the more chances you have at building a critical mass of units to be able to outmaneuver the computer. Some islands are more difficult than other islands, and I'll be going over 3 islands that I thought were among the most difficult ones. And I'll show you how I managed to beat them, and you can as well. All right, so the first island is Island 106. This one is going to be a very difficult one, if not probably the most difficult island that you will encounter. Mostly because you start off with 2 small pieces of territory. You have one piece over here, and you have another piece you've connected over here. They each have 2 peasants in them, but you don't have a lot of territory, you don't have a lot of income to start off with, and your goal is obviously to connect them eventually, but currently you've got brown over here who already has a spearman, and you've got green over here up north also with the spearman. So you're kind of at their mercy, and you kind of have to play right to make sure you don't get just crushed for both sides. Also notice that you have a hut over here with a peasant. You want to keep this alive if possible so that this can accumulate income, and eventually this piece of territory, if you can connect it with this hut, you'll be able to gain the savings inside. Okay, so this is just a few more turns down the line. You're able to build a castle here, and you're able to kind of start invading the territory up north. The jungle is going to take over, which is also going to help a little bit by making yellow pretty weak, and eventually you should be able to take up all of this territory. You do have to watch out for yellow coming in at some point trying to invade on this side, so you will probably have to build a castle, and the same thing on over here. And eventually, see, this is where I built a castle, and eventually you're able to get a knight. Actually, knights on both ends, and it should be pretty easy from there as you cut off green in the middle, and you can win the game. Okay, and this is pretty much the end of the game. Next island, Island 213. This is another kind of difficult one. Didn't really recall too much at the beginning, but you're going to start off with 2 pretty small areas up north and down south, and eventually you build up enough of an army to be able to gain more territory. And here's how you win. And then the final island is Island 217. This one is pretty tricky as well. Notice that you really don't have a lot. You've got territory here that's really weak, and there's not a lot of fortifications, and you can get cut off pretty easily, so you do have to play it very carefully. And you do have a piece of territory in the middle that you do want to connect eventually to, because this is going to be collecting income, 3 income every single turn, and that does add up. And then you have a piece of territory up north over here. So here's where you've kind of connected everything and you've consolidated your territory. And you basically use castles on these little territories by themselves to just be able to hold off your opponents and make their lives more difficult so that they have to protect the other end of their territories. And that's it. That's how you can win every single island from very small to small. And probably also all the large and very large islands. Because the larger the island, the easier it is to win. Alright, so have fun everybody and keep slaying.